Happy New Year. Welcome to 2023. We've made it to another year. If you're joining us, this is the second.
Never would have made it.
And I guess people are wanting to sing. Where are you? I would have lost it all. Now I see you were there for me. And I will say, Happy New Year. We're in 2023 now. By the sound of my voice, you might be able to tell that I have a bit of flu, a cold.
No, by the sound of his voice, you can tell he partied hard. He partied hard on the 31st December.
I was in the house of the Lord, coughing my lungs out.
He really was. He actually was. I
was
concerned.
So.
Yeah.
I couldn't even really shake a leg, you know. I said, Lord, just thank you for bringing me to January 1st. We're still here.
Come on.
I'm still alive. This seasonal flu, this winter flu has come with a vengeance. They said, you thought COVID was bad? Watch this. It's,
Wait, where was that from?
Russia.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah.
That was in 2022, wasn't it? Or was that 2021? I can't remember. All the years are blurring into one. But yeah, how are you guys doing?
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, same. I've spent Christmas, New Year sleeping. Today I woke up at, I think, like 11:45. At noon. I booked today off work.
To work?
I'll go back tomorrow. So everyone came back to work today, but I knew that it was going to be a rush. So I said, as a form of self-love, I'm going to book today off. So I went to bed around like 5 a.m. and then I woke up at noon.
Wow, 5 a.m. when the wizards and warlocks are around.
Whoa.
What?
That's why she was praying in the place of prayer, warring against them.
I wish I was doing that. I really wish I was. I wasn't. I was just looking at stuff on the internet. And yeah, I was just... Please don't do that. I was just looking at stuff on the internet. And then, I woke up at noon. I had breakfast. It was like a chocolate cookie. And then I had... Really, honestly. And then I had lunch and it was just like jollof rice and then that was it. But literally just been sleeping, eating, more sleeping and eating, which has been really nice. Yeah.
Yesterday, when I was recovering in my bedroom, I generally thought it was a bank holiday tomorrow, as in today that we're now. So I was like, oh man, let me just plan my lots of anime watching time for tomorrow. And I was like, wait. And it was, I seen a tweet from Paul, a friend of the podcast, Paul, aka Soul Stature. He said, I don't want to go into the office tomorrow. I was thinking, surely it's bank holiday tomorrow, so why would he be going into the office? And I was like, I seen another tweet from Hannah, a friend of ours, and I was like, oh, she's saying this. I said, wait. Google. Actually, no, the first thing I did is I went into my my holiday planner for work. I don't know why I went through the difficulty of opening up my work laptop, turning it on, logging in, waiting for all the network drivers to connect, then going into my HR portal to see, I don't have any time booked off. I could have just gone into Google and said, is tomorrow a bank holiday? But the panic got me so much. I said, I don't have anything for work tomorrow. I need to go do shopping. I need to go do cooking. I said, oh, Lord. And I thought, I've just spent most of my day, and this was like 4:00 when I found out. I spent most of my day watching stuff. I could have been productive. So let that be a lesson, you know. The bank holiday was for Scotland, not for England. So
I think, but even like the first being on a Sunday, I feel like that has just messed everyone up because normally, like you would think at the start of the new year, you automatically think Monday, but New Year's was actually on a Sunday and then Monday was a bank holiday. So I felt like Monday felt like a Tuesday. I was about to say today feels like, and today feels like a Wednesday, but it's actually not. Like when I woke up this morning, there was a bit of a panic moment when I was like, am I 3 hours late for work? but then knows like actually set your alarm. But it's confusing.
I can't lie to you. When I woke up today,
actually let me set my alarm.
I said, "What the heck is this?" I thought about going back to sleep, and that's never happened to me. I am always prompt to get up. I was even going to go to the gym in the morning, and I heard my alarm for the gym, and I said, "Nope, I don't think today's the day. We are going back to sleep." And the sleep I had between the first alarm and the second alarm was so sweet.
It's sweet.
I said, I guess I got to go up for work. And I knew that it wasn't a bank holiday because when I was driving on the road, I seen so many cars about. I said, oh, let's go to work.
It's okay. You know what this reminds me of? You know when you have like, when you're back in school and you have the summer holidays and then you come back, but you don't know how to use a pen anymore. Like, I feel that, but it's like, although this is shorter, it's worse because it's like, it's not like there's a transition to like holiday and then, you know, work and then life. It's like, you know, everything that you've put on pause, it's ready to begin again. So yeah, in the future, guys, just book the day off. Like our Scotland people, they're enjoying their time. Be like them. Just use that one day of annual leave and just do yourself a favor. It's better that way. Scotland has everything better, I'm realizing these days. Like,
yeah, but it's
what
cold.
do we have?
It's cold.
Is it not cold here?
Yeah, but it's even
colder.
Yeah, but I'm saying that if you're already suffering, what's a little bit more suffering gonna do? With remote working these days, you can basically have like a job where you could just work from home. You could probably pay like, I don't know, the healthcare's probably slightly better. You know, they send you things when you have a baby, you have an extra bank holiday off. What do we get? What we get?
I don't know.
Cost of living.
It's killing our people. Yeah.
But I think what JIREH did last year was really clever, like using up the rest of his holiday to take every Friday off from January to March. That was really, really clever.
I didn't know that.
Yes, I did do that. Yeah. So I had like 4-day working weeks most times.
That was
and I would treat like the Thursday afternoon as like, well, it's already the weekend, so you know we might as well just who are we kidding here? There's no work going to be done. Let's pick it up on Monday.
So JIREH was basically doing 3.5 hours, no, 3.5 days. My manager actually said something similar because I had a lot of leave left that I couldn't move into this year. I mean, I've moved quite a few over, and she was like, if you just need to do like a half day on a Friday or just take Fridays off. And I was like, but the workload is not reducing. When I come back on Monday, this work is going to flog me. So what's the point?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is well. We're back in it anyway. Let's get this bread. Yay.
Ching, ching. So how was everyone Christmas and New Year's before we get started?
Yeah, good. Fun. My siblings came up to Manchester, so that was cute. So we did Christmas here, and then we did like a mini like friends link up the day after, which was nice. No, 2 days after. Yeah, and then yeah, really nice.
Wow, wait, what? Sorry, a friends link up. Where was the rest of us?
To be honest, like it was very last minute and unplanned.
You know what's so funny? But none of us were working during Christmas, so all of us could have made time. But it's okay. We'll take this offline.
It's all right, Ramade. It's okay. You know, we know where our priorities lie, innit?
Yeah.
Very nice.
We'll discuss this in greater detail later.
Yeah.
I mean, JIREH wasn't even in Manchester at the time. We were in London.
That's besides.
I'm sure.
The invite is always necessary.
But anyways, it was very last minute. Yeah. Someone was just like, I'm coming over, and I'm like, oh.
Okay.
And then yeah, they brought their friends and I brought my siblings.
Yay. Anyways.
Yeah, my New Year's was, like I said, in bed, eating. Well, I was in church the night before, but there were no buses running, so there was no way I was going to make it to church, and I wasn't going to pay another Uber. I've already, in December.
Uber's on the 1st of January.
No. It's a lie. It's a lie from the enemy. I've just stopped using Ubers.
With the Lord, I hope you can tell him it's because it was the 1st of January that I couldn't go to church.
Anybody said
It's
that I
fine.
don't go
God
to church, I
forgives.
just don't
Also,
go
it's not
skip,
like
yeah.
it's not a do or die situation. And oh yeah. Anyway, you know. But Christmas was great. So I spent Christmas at my friends. And it was literally the same as New Year's. I was literally eating and sleeping, eating and sleeping. Even on Christmas Day, we went to church, came back home, slept. I didn't have my Christmas dinner till about 8 that night because I just slept.
At that time, it's Christmas supper.
It was the supper. Yeah, for any of the anemic babes out there who did not take the iron tablets
every
and then are dealing with the consequences. I'm chewing those iron tablets now, but the damage is done. I need to start again. But I went to see one of my friends. So she was doing like a Christmas gathering for like people that weren't like going home for Christmas. So that was really nice. Met some new people, played some games. And then I did a tiny bit of traveling to Huddersfield over the holidays as well. And that was it. Yeah, it was really chilled. Like I was very intentional about like not bringing my laptop. I mean, I did do like a bit of like job searching, but like I didn't bring my laptop with me anywhere. Sorry, I realized that I have a problem with work. I work all the time, but I'm trying to kill that with fire. But yeah, I tried my best to relax and not try to do anything too strenuous or think too hard. Yeah. What about you, Joe?
It was the first time I hosted Christmas in my house with the family. I sat at the head of the table, obviously, with the best chair. It was a delight. Yes, I had family. I had a friend over as well who was going to have Christmas, be spending alone. So I thought I'd bring him along. And then the next day, up at 6 a.m., ready, packed to leave the house at 7:30 to drive down to Essex to go see my wife's cousin, one of my groomsmen, Dane, and Auntie Diane. And it was I found out I had cruise control in my car. That was fantastic. It made that drive so easy. I said, I will never press another pedal in my car. I will let the car decide where we go. And it was sensational. I said, wow, this is technology. This is wow. So yeah, we arrived, spent most of the week there, went to see my cousins as well. Was going to link up with other people, but fam, London is too big. It's actually
It's too big.
It took me an hour from one side to get to even see my cousins, never mind going to see other people. And I wasn't even trying to go through Central. That was just like driving on the treacherous M25. That road, that motorway there, it's not your friend.
Did you have to get through any toll gates where you had to pay and stuff?
No, okay. Because when I set up my maps, I set it up so that I always avoid any toll gates. And because I have a diesel that's fairly new-ish, I didn't have to pay emissions either. So yeah. But yeah, that was my Christmas. I came back on Friday to go to church, obviously on Saturday evening, and then go on Sunday morning again. That was I overslept, so I was even late for the Sunday morning service. But I told people, don't look at me like I owe you anything.
You know what?
You're even lucky that I'm here.
My thing is, if we're already in church so late, because people like enjoyment too much, because you think that everyone would just go home as soon as the clock strikes. No, people wanted to stay, sing and enjoy. And I'm like, you're going to be back here 8 hours later. Like, should we just not do everything condensed and then go home and rest, or have like a really shortened service the day after? Yeah, or in the evening, exactly. But nope, you're back in there. But yeah, I was so tired. I was so happy that I couldn't get to church. I can't lie to you. I woke up at 8, messaged our production like leader to be like, I can't make it. Like I can't. And guess what? I slept till 1. Best sleep. Oh my God.
Rest is important. Rest is important. So yeah, I back it.
Thank you.
Whatever. Anyways, continue on from last week. Obviously we're talking about like relationships. We're talking about Christian relationships on socials and whatnot. But I just wanted to expand it out to more so, because obviously whenever someone says relationships, they're thinking man and woman, male and female relationships. But Aramide, what's up with your face? I'm saying that's what people think. Obviously, there's other dynamics in a relationship. There's a man and a man, there's a woman and a woman, there's a they and they, there is a non-binary person with a non-binary person, you know.
Okay.
But we are talking about the man and the woman, but we're also talking about friendships. What was I even going to say? Yeah, you know, the dynamics and the impact of those kind of things. And Aramide raised an interesting point where she talks about how friendships change when circumstances change and how you deal with that. So, for instance, when your friends either change jobs, which means they move cities, how do you deal with that? So I'm going to ask, obviously, both of you individually, like, we are all in Manchester, but I believe only I am here due to my parents being here, but you guys came here of your own volition. So friendship-wise, how did that look like when you first came here?
Anna, do you want to go? Because you studied here.
Yeah, well, yeah, I came here for uni. So like obviously when everyone's going to uni and stuff, like there is that, everyone understands that, yeah, we're all going to be in different cities, we're all going to be like studying in different places. So there's not an expectation to see people as much, to like be in touch with them as much and things like that. Like obviously you do try and make plans to see each other whilst at uni and all that kind of stuff, but it's kind of like you understand that this is a whole new stage of our life where we're going from seeing each other 5 days a week to potentially not seeing each other like until like once every 3 months or even longer. So I think with that understanding, once you're done with uni, like you just kind of like continue with that understanding. So like obviously people like will finish, they'll go live abroad, they'll go live in different cities, especially like jobs like, let's say, medicine, where you're allocated where you live, so you don't really have that much of a choice in it, especially for your F1 and F2. So people could find themselves like in Bristol, from Manchester to Bristol, from like London all the way in like Glasgow and stuff like that. So with those kind of situations, like I think, yeah, everyone has an understanding that this person might literally be like in Glasgow and I might see them once every 2 years, but we can still keep in touch in some form of way, you know what I mean? So I think, yeah, it's just like maturing in your understanding of friendship, and understanding that friendship doesn't necessarily mean you have to see or talk to that person every day, but there is that like love, caring for, and genuinely like wishing for the best for them and having them in mind, and things like that. Yeah, genuinely wishing for their success and being happy for everything that they are going through, and just trying to keep an eye on them, you know, like keep up to date with their life. And because that's part of caring, like making sure you're following them on Instagram, or even if they don't use Insta, like if they use Facebook, checking Facebook once in a while to see the life updates, like knowing if they've had a kid and whether you should send them something and stuff like that. Like I think those small gestures really help.
If they're below the age of 13, you're using Facebook, please seek God. Thank you.
Below the age of 13 or above the age of 13?
You're below the age of 13, you're using Facebook.
I can't lie, like Facebook's used a lot for like university societies and stuff, like groups,
13 or
chats, and all
30?
that
Sorry,
kind of
I'm
stuff.
so confused.
30.
Oh,
said
what I was
30.
gonna say, like, because I was like, I think you can't be on Facebook unless you're like 12 or older. So I was like, yeah, if you are younger than that, like you shouldn't be on there.
But yeah, I mean, obviously, if you're like an everyday user,
that's what
but
I
like
mean.
I know that like a lot of like uni societies, groups, and all that kind of stuff are based there. So some people just have them there like because they need them and stuff.
And
so,
a lot of people
yeah.
use Facebook Messenger as well. So a lot of people
Yeah.
might not really be on WhatsApp. That might be like their primary form of communication with friends. But I think I guess how I see it is because I'm not from the north. So when I came to university, I went to Huddersfield. I was like, I wanted to make friends. I think there was only one person I stayed in touch with when I was still, like when I moved up north for university. But even then, it completely dwindled because when you're in school, a lot of your friendships, well, mine definitely were based on the fact that we could see each other every day. And when that was removed, it was like so what do you do again? But when I moved to Manchester, I moved for work. And at that time, a lot of my friends had traveled to different parts of the country, either to pursue their masters, to start working. But my core friendship group, well, the ones that I was still friends with, they were actually back at university because they did a placement year. And so there was a period of time where it was just kind of me by myself in Manchester, and I didn't really know anyone. And I really, really, really struggled with loneliness, because you're so used to like seeing your friends every day, eating with them, talking with them, studying with them. And then to be in a new city that you've never really been in. And I worked in Wythenshawe, which isn't,
God.
oh my goodness, which, okay, so just so many noises. Wythenshawe isn't close to town, so it's not like you could just kind of bop to the town centre and like, I don't know, go to a cafe and talk to someone. So I think I really kind of struggled with that transition. And that, but to kind of cut that, I had to be really intentional about putting myself in communities where I could meet people. So that was like in the form of Bible study and church. And for example, it was through church that I actually got to know JIREH more, for example. So I was having like those social interactions, but for my friends that were still existing, communication just naturally reduced significantly because they're doing their, their dissertations, they're busy, they have their own social life back at university. And although obviously there's that sense of understanding, that doesn't always mean that, although you understand, that doesn't always mean that it doesn't hurt or that it doesn't feel lonely. And I have friends that I've had for a long time, but because that proximity isn't there and your life gets busier as you get older, like you just have more responsibilities. It's, we didn't even speak every day before, but now it's like, damn, we're speaking maybe once every 2 months. And it's like, some friends, it's like, I remember one of our friends in our friendship group, he got married. And I was like, oh my God, I didn't know that you got married, kind of thing. And it might seem little, but communication reduces, and the capacity for intentionality also reduces as well, because you can be intentional, but if they don't have the time, if you don't have the time, they probably form their own friendship groups. That's difficult. And I feel like you go through so many changes as an adult. You're in school, you're in sixth form, cool. Now you're at university, you're in a melting pot full of people. But once you leave that melting pot, and if you move to a different city, you have to kind of start again, where you have to find your own tribe of people that you see more regularly and you can do life more closely with. Obviously, you can still do life with your people from university and stuff, but I'm sure we can all say that doing stuff virtually isn't quite the same as like doing stuff in person. The conversations you're going to have with them are more likely going to be recaps, like, okay, so what happened, rather than that kind of live action, okay, tell me what's going on with you kind of thing. But yeah, I think for me anyway, my relationships have changed dramatically. The intimacy is still there, the strength of it is still there, but it's not the same as what it was before. And I think that's just something that no one really tells you to prepare for.
I don't know, for me, obviously, because I've been in Manchester for most of my life now. So obviously I have high school friends, college friends that I've known. And then when I went to uni, I moved out so I could get the full experience. And I think it was actually the moving out that also helped me, definitely helped me draw closer to God, because if I had lived at home, I would have just stuck with all the, not that there's anything wrong with that, but I would have just stuck with all the friends that I knew from high school and college. And I wouldn't have really made an effort to make friends from uni, because in my head, I would have been like, oh, in like 2-3 years, they're going to move back home anyway. So there's not really any point, anything like that. So let me just stick to what I know. But it was me putting myself out there and I guess venturing out further that allowed me to meet new people, meet people from all different walks of life, especially from different cities that I met before, because before that, everyone I knew had a Mancunian accent. So I didn't really hear people from the South that much, unless I heard people from other northern cities. So when you hear someone from with a Southern accent, you're thinking, oh, why'd you talk like that? Why?
And you think they're all from London, and it's like,
Yeah,
but no.
yeah. Are you from London? And they'll tell me an area. It's like, oh, is that near London? I'm like, no. Like, right, okay. But yeah, so that kind of evolved, and then when uni kind of ended, what the benefit was, that the fact that I had friendship circles in different spheres of my life. And then the church came in, so obviously I made church friends as well. That's where I met Anna, that's where I met ARAMIDE as well. But I also had friends, obviously, through work. I had friends for different types of work, because I used to work for Nike for like a good 4 or 5 years. So a few of my friends came from there, uni, different sports that I played, different interests that I had. So yeah, but you're right, the intentionality, because you can have lots of different friends, but you have a closer circle of people that you intentionally meet with. And that becomes harder when you have a lot of friends and acquaintances, because then you have to kind of start not doing a background check, but you have to start sieving through who you can do life with. And especially as a Christian, you want to be able to do life with someone who is also walking in the same path as you, because it becomes incredibly more difficult if you're doing life with someone who, one, doesn't even share your same belief system, two, is walking in an opposite direction to you, and three, will make it difficult for you to even continue to walk, because they're going to call you boring, or they're going to call you this, and then in your head you'll think, but we've got like years of friendships together, and we've been through so many things, and you most likely wouldn't want to drop anything. But like you both said, it takes that maturity to realize like what's important, because as my mom always used to say, friends come and go, because I always used to say to her, these are going to be my friends for life, and she would always just say to me, okay, no. And said, oh, you don't need friends. And I said, oh, Mom, of course you need friends. You know, friends are helpful. But I think in her mind, she meant more like, these aren't the friends that you might have for the rest of your life. But cherish them, but they're not going to be there always, especially when you always need them. There are friends that are going to be there, but that takes time, and you have to build with that. Because my mom had those friends who she built life with, who were there for her in her most desperate times and stuff like that. So even as Christians ourselves, we kind of need to have friends like that, but the intentionality behind it requires a lot of effort. And in this day and age, you could just, if someone does a violation, you just think, is everything okay at home? Nah, who do you think you are, mate? Who do you think you are, mate? Yeah. Do you know who I am? And you're just quick to cut people off. You're quick to do Twitter fingers or go on your story, post
so
cryptic.
that is so childish.
Oh my gosh. Cryptic Snapchat. People used to do that on Snapchat.
People that are still using Snapchat needs to be cancelled. Number one. There's no grace for you.
We're doing a black screen with some sort of quote, and you're thinking, what the heck? Who is,
you know, like, there's drama brewing where someone's like, now I know who my real friends are. Or they're like, I can only trust me and my family. And it's like,
you're thinking, what's going on?
Come offline, please, just come offline.
Someone has done something. But yeah, for me, I guess location to me doesn't always change how I view friendships, because if you're further away, if I can still somehow communicate with you, I am okay with that. I have friends that we don't even live in the same cities. I have friends we don't even live in the same country. So it's just the effort of being able to talk to people. You don't have to talk to obviously someone every single second, every single minute. But if you have 7 days in a week and you talk to someone, 3 days, if that, even 2 days, that's more intentional than, I guess, doing it once every 2 or 3 months. Granted, obviously, if you have the time, this is just for people that have the time, but you make time for the things that are important to you. So yeah, I'll leave that there.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, did you want to say something, Anna?
Oh, no, it's just, I said absolutely, so true.
Yeah. And I think even when you're talking about how people are so quick to cut off friends, I think, when did that become a thing? Because I remember like when I started making like stronger friendship.
Aubrey Drake Graham released a song called No New Friends, and that took off. No new friends, no new friends, no. I
didn't know that was a song. But like I feel like when I was growing up, in my head, really, I am, and I'm loving it. In my head, you just don't kind of, friendships in my head don't have an end date. In terms of like, for example, with romantic relationships, you know, there's always that kind of aspect of like things might end. But when you have friends, you don't think, okay, this is the cutoff.
Oh, and next week.
What'd you say?
I'm like, this gonna have to end next week.
No, literally, yeah. Unless it's like you're just kind of doing that friendship for that time. You're like, I need to go. I don't like you, but let's just be friends so we can manage the situation. But it seems like everyone is so like quick to cut off friends. Everyone's toxic, but sometimes you're the problem, because if everyone's leaving you, surely you're the one that's kind of chasing them away. But I guess friendships it's not even like friendships always have to end. I think sometimes priorities just change. Like whether it's jobs, whether it's family, whether it's I don't know, time availability. That can also be, I guess, why like distance grows and why it's so important to actually have check-ins with your friends, in terms of, especially friends that you've not seen in a long time, or friends that you do see often, but it's more of a shallow meet and greet rather than actually like, how are you, in terms of like coming to an arrangement of what's your capacity in this season of your life. What does our friendship look like to you? How can I be a better friend to you? How can you be a better friend to me? If let's say we're going to do a friendship where we speak once a month, is that something that you want as well? Because there's no point if, let's say, like, sometimes it's like I've been in positions where I've been reluctant to make friendships because I'm like, this person is really enthusiastic, but I'm like, dang, the friends I've had for years, I'm struggling to make time for them. So
wait, someone's really enthusiastic to be your friend
in the past, yeah.
Oh, right, okay. I don't think I've ever had that, you know.
No, but like they really like, they're not like, you know, jumping on my neck and like, friend me now or I'm that. But it's more like they meet you and
let's have
like,
coffee. Let's do
yeah,
things together.
let's do this, let's talk every day. And it's like, but I'll have like 15 unread messages from people that I've not even gotten to. Oh, it's way more.
I must
15.
be really bad vibes, because I don't ever get that.
No, but your life is quite streamlined in a sense. I feel like it's different for men, like when they're befriending other men, I don't know. But like I've experienced it with women, and I'm like, I'm genuinely struggling to make time for other people in my life. When I add you to the mix, yes, I want to be friends with you, but you're actually setting yourself up for disappointment. And it's really important. I'm gonna disappoint you. That's right. I will disappoint you.
What you think it is.
But but I will say that it's so sweet when you meet someone who's very understanding, like you said, like they also, even if they're new or they're an old friend, if they have that understanding that you're not available 24/7, you can be for them, like if they need you, but ordinarily you're not kind of available all the time. It just makes adulting and being friends with people just so much more easy and satisfying.
Yeah, I mean, for myself, I know for my friends, I am available for them. I'm also willing to do a lot for my friends. But I'm also aware that my friends are independent people, so I won't openly go and reach out and say, what can I do for you? How can I help you? It's just, if they come to me and ask for help, my first instinct is not to say no. My first instinct is always, how can I help, or do I have the capacity to help them? And if my answer is no for the capacity aspect, I immediately think, well, can I find another route through someone else to get them help? Yeah, that's how I operate generally. I mean, so far it's not been a problem for me. Yeah, you know, when people message me, I don't ignore their messages. If I have ignored your messages, I have no answer for that. Anyways,
I need to apologize to all my friends right now. You're gonna get a reply from me before this is released.
Yeah. Granted, there are periods where I just have a lot of messages in the pile up, but I just go through them in an orderly manner. I just do it from when they first come. It's not even like importance really, unless it's like my wife and brother. That's yeah, just different. But I forgot what question I was going to ask actually. Oh man, my mind has gone blank. My mind has gone. Oh yes, how can we actually be? So for people that are listening, how do you think, especially as Christians, be better friends or be better in relationships, not just like romantic, but like family, friendships, even with co-workers? How can we be better at that? You know, just like a generic guideline, not even the specifics. Because obviously for a romantic relationship is a bit different, you know what I'm saying?
We just looked at you like, what's this guy saying? That's a really good question. I genuinely think it's the same principles. The principles are the same for any relationship. And I said it's communication. It's so key. It's pivotal, because if you cannot communicate well, especially to your friends, or you refuse to communicate, your relationship will end. It would either regress or it would just end or stay the same. And communication can be, it doesn't mean
have you ever had those friends that are really passive aggressive, that don't just say what's on their mind, but they want to, you know, take
they
it
want
out?
you to read their mind? Have I been that friend before? Yar?
Oh yes, you will have that friend.
Wait. Wait. Okay, put a pin in that. We're going to discuss it later. I need examples of when I've been that, because you said that online, and yeah. But yeah, definitely speaking your mind. I remember back in the day, I used to like harbor things and just harbor things and harbor things, and I'm like, it's not that bad, until the day I explode, and it was like, okay, so it was that bad. But actually communicating, not shying away from having difficult conversations, telling your friends that you love them, that you care for them, just talking and being honest, not putting up a front. Checking with them if you've been disappointed, checking with them if they've done something well, how they're coping with things, even if you can't make time for them, just checking in, just making an effort to communicate will add so much value to whatever relationship you have, flat out. And you can't compromise on that. If you don't communicate, you don't have a friendship. I don't know what you have.
That's
your
true.
acquaintances? I don't know.
What about yourself, Anna?
What's this specifically for? Like,
just how to be better in relationships, or how to be relationally be better as a person towards people around you, friends, family.
I feel like I've said this before on this podcast. I feel like we've had a similar discussion, but like understanding how your friends communicate and how they receive love, or how they receive like help. Because like we have a friend, Elijah doesn't hit me up. Like we have a very close relationship, but he doesn't hit me up. When he hits me up, it's like, Anna, I'm doing this today, are you free, come through? Or like on a random, maybe he'll think about me and be like, hi, how are you doing? Or he'll be like, I need something. So, but like I don't hold any personal feelings against him, because first of all, he doesn't really like texting. He's very much a phone call person. And when I see him, we have very long, in-depth conversations anyway, and we have very like in-depth catch-ups. But for some other people, they might find it very like inconsiderate. Like, you never hit me up. You hit me up when you want to do something, or you never actually care.
Let it be known that Anna doesn't hit me and Aramide up ever anyway. So
yeah, I'm just saying, I don't hit anyone up. I literally don't hit anyone up.
Oh my god!
Why?
Change.
About that. Wow.
But the thing is, what JIREH also hasn't said is that we literally send each other memes and tweets on Instagram, text, and Twitter every day as well. So we communicate in some form, even if it's not like in that form. Do you know what I mean? So I'm just saying, like, everyone has their like ways of communication and like ways that they can tell if someone's.
So is JIREH frozen? Oh, I'm so scared. Oh,
because you know, like, yeah. So like, if I don't receive like anything, like any tweets from JIREH for like 2 days, I'll just be like, yo, you okay? Is everything all right at home? You know. So that's like my way of like keeping up with. Do you know what I mean? So I think everyone has it. So it's just, especially like the people that you hold dearest, try to identify that. And if there's something that they do, they're like, why? Like, I don't like this. You have a conversation with them, because usually they're just really good at explaining why. That's how they give love, or that's how they think of you, and then you can also agree on some form of like middle ground on how you guys can move forward with that. But definitely, I think taking the time to think about how your friends communicate and show love, like, and things like that really, really does help your relationships.
Can I also add, I think in the interest of having authentic friendships, when you feel that a friendship, how do I put this way? I think we need to normalize amicably ending friendships.
Still doing it in 2023? Normalize?
We need to
Yeah.
normalize.
No, because for any
That's one
time
of
you
the
hear
words for 2022. Normalize.
no,
it was definitely a 2021 word.
Really?
oh
Yeah.
you know, all the
like,
2000 to 2022 were all 1 year for me. Horrible, but all 1 year. But I think when you hear stories of like friendships ending, oftentimes it's usually like over a big blow up, slander, people are upset, people feel broken, people are having like to deal with things years on. I think another thing we could just do is amicably end friendships. In terms of like, if you genuinely feel like something has run its course, if you feel like someone is just holding on just for like old time's sake, but their heart isn't in it, or your heart isn't in it, or like they're like, they love you, but you're like, we've changed, we're different people, we don't have the same interests, the things that bound us together no longer do, and we don't have a middle ground now. I think
So
it's okay to amicably. No. Well, yes, but nicely. And actually having a conversation.
Don't call me, don't text me, don't phone me,
Don't
no.
look at me in the eye.
Don't look at me like I owe you anything.
But I actually had that not last year, the year before. Was it last year? Maybe it was the year before. Sorry, in my head, last year is 2021, not 2022. But yeah, where a friend and I, we ended our friendship, and it didn't mean that
say, when ARAMIDE told me this, I was like, oh, that sounds so professional. It's like her friendship is like a contract where
we shook hands on it.
Sign here to terminate our contract.
To end the friendship. I just thought, oh, this is a very grown up. I just thought, oh, ARAMIDE must see all her friendships like a transactional paper where
there's no exit interviews and all of them.
Home and she has a folder and she flips through saying, okay, so these contractual obligations are being met and fulfilled.
Wow. I like that you think I have that much time on my hands to be pulling up these contracts, but genuinely, that doesn't mean, by the way, that doesn't mean that it removes pain. But I think sometimes, like when people end things with like an argument, you never get quote unquote closure. You never feel like, oh, maybe I tried here. But if genuinely your friend comes to you and said maybe they've been let down by you, or they genuinely don't feel like you guys are compatible in any way, shape, or form, and they want to take a step back to look after themselves or whatever, they're actually involving you in that process. And that's actually a really beautiful thing, because you get to understand them better, and you can actually think, how can I be a better friend, or how can I see this coming in the future so that it doesn't happen again? Or you might just not learn anything from it because you might feel the same way. But I just feel like when you do things that way, because I'm someone that, for example, I'm gonna like go back on the messages and like ponder and be like, where did things go wrong? Yeah, I know, but I'm changed, glory to God. But
and delete, archive, and never look at it again.
Oh, I just used to delete. Yeah, not even archive, just flat out delete. But now it's like I can actually look back and be like, I've done my due diligence, and this was an adult conversation, and so it's fine. Yeah, that's an alternative than doing Twitter fingers and then having a notes apology, or a note in a screenshot onto your Instagram pages of typos and that little squiggly red line underneath like words, being like, yeah, I just have to concentrate on my mental health and my family. I don't need anyone because people are going to disappoint you anyway.
A PR message.
They need to fire their PR people, because that is so disgusting. Like, you could literally make a Word document or just anything and put that, rather than that grainy, like slightly ashy background on the notes. It's yucky. If that's you, change this year.
Okay. I guess we'll just finally, I'll ask a final question before we round up. It feels like a sermon. We'll round up. Yeah, what's something that you learned in 2022? Because, you know, we're now in 2023 as of today's date is the 3rd of Jan. So what's something that you learned in 2022? The silence.
I wouldn't say it's like one specific thing I've learned, because you learn different things. What'd you say?
Like anything, because this is a very broad question.
Yeah. I was going to be like, this has been a year of realizing things. Like early Jenna said all those years ago. Okay, one thing I've learned is that I think I surprised myself with how decisive I can be at times. Because I think sometimes, like, especially like with family, for example, I've been like in the past been scared to make decisions because I didn't want to upset people, or because I'm like, oh my gosh, if I make this decision, you know, I can make an informed decision now, but in 10 years time, when I'm older and wiser, I might look back and say that was the wrong decision to make. But it's like, actually, each time you have to make an informed decision with the wisdom that you have now. So I think I surprised myself with how decisive I can be. And another thing is that I've learned that, I guess something that I don't have is like, I don't do activities that are fun, that are just for the fun of it. Just like fun. You know how like you were playing Mario Kart before this, or like some people like just go and play sports, and it's just that thing that they do that brings out that childlike fun. I don't have that. And
Yeah, that's
so,
like I said, that's why you go home and read the contracts about your friendships.
no. Oh my God, that
The
is so
legal
good.
terms and how to implement them.
Yeah, how they wronged me, they'll rue
Salsa.
the day. What'd you say?
You did do salsa before.
I did do salsa, but it clashed with church, so I stopped. But I mean, yeah, I'd like to do that again. Actually, that's a good idea, actually. But yeah, so in the later end of last year, I've been more intentional about just doing more things that are fun. But in 2021, I didn't think that was something that was lacking in my life. So that was something that I realized last year, that it's okay to do things that are just for the fun of it, and they bring out that childlike joy, and it doesn't have to be like something you're paid for or something that you have to show up to every single week. And it's just, I'm just describing a hobby.
Essentially, that's what
Yeah,
this is a roundabout way of saying that you have a hobby.
I don't. I'm looking for one.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Joanna, what's something that you learned in 2022?
I think because I sometimes get very anxious in social situations, and which kind of prevents me from doing things by myself. Like, I've missed out on like a lot of concerts and events and all that kind of stuff because I can't find anyone to go with. Do you know what I mean? So this year, I've been slowly pushing myself out of my comfort zone and like starting things and going into things by myself and just like making friends there and things like that. And yeah, it's been like very hard at times, but yeah, I'm just like, so I'm glad that I've learned that it's just me just overthinking a lot of the time, and it's led to some of the like best things I've done this year. So it's not really something I've learned, I'm sorry, it's just something I've overcome, I guess.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
something
amazing.
I've learned about myself. But yeah, so I'm just glad I've been able to overcome that, I guess, and that's something I've learned about myself.
Oh, that's good. That is a really good thing to do. I would say Aramide doesn't suffer with that because she'll happily go out to a concert by herself. So
Oh, I've been to many gigs and stuff. Because you know what?
She told me that. I said, "Oh, that's very interesting."
You know what? There was a year that Daniel Caesar.
So many times myself and everything. Like, yeah, it's just.
There was a year that Daniel Caesar came to the UK. I've already seen him. This was before he got cancelled. So I've seen him the second time he came to the UK. But the first time he came, the concert was like £12, and it was the main album that I really loved.
Yeah.
And I remembered all my friends were like, we're gonna go. Yeah. And they were like, we're gonna go. And then they were like, we don't want to go. And then I was waiting for them. And then by the time they got in touch with me, the tickets had sold out. And I was so upset. And there was even a year I wanted to go on holiday with one of my friends for my birthday, and she was stalling and stalling and stalling, and the prices just kept increasing. And by the time I booked it, it was like about £150 more expensive than it would have been if I actually booked it when I wanted to. So I just wanted the solo trip, because that way you can enjoy things rather than like being at the mercy of someone else.
True.
My lesson was that life is for the living. You have to live life. Time doesn't stop. So obviously last year, two of my family members died. My mum actually passed away in 2021, but we buried her in 2022. And my uncle passed away in 2022 as well. And it's a bit morbid, but they were actually buried right next to each other. So yeah, that was very surreal. But yeah, that whole year of 2022 made me realize that life is for the living. Yeah, you can't just sit around and dawdle and do nothing, as comfortable as it might feel. But yeah, because when you're gone, you're gone. You leave a legacy behind, and people will remember you for that. So yeah, whatever you do, make sure that you'll be remembered for it, but do it for the glory of the Lord. Yeah, not for your own selfish ambitions. So yeah, that was my lesson for 2022. And here we are in 2023. Time is flying. Ages are getting older.
I'm gonna be 27. You know what's so funny? I don't mind getting older because I think it's a good thing. But I think sometimes I'm like, but I'm only a little baby. I'm only 20. And then it's like, no, you're 26.
Clearly not, because when you look at 20-year-olds, you look at them with irritation.
No, wait, wait, no. I actually don't know any 20-year-olds. Actually, I might do, maybe from church. But in my head, everyone is like the same age as me. And my age in my head is like 2021. And then it's like, no, I'm older than them. And I'm going to be 27. And in 3 years' time, I'm going to be 30. And it's like, but I don't feel like how I imagine 27-year-olds would feel, like a 26-year-olds would feel.
Yeah.
Is that just me? I don't know.
It's like when you watch, when I used to watch TV shows back then, and these people would be in their mid-20s, but all their life seemed to be so together. They had a house, they had everything patterned. You're thinking, oh, well, I'm at this age and I don't have what you have, so I must be failing somewhere. But the cost of living is really coming on our heads, and the rishi, can't you see?
Rishi.
Can't you see? All of our pockets are empty.
But honestly, I think we actually need to pray about this government, because just give the trained people what they want, give the NHS people what they want, whoever the teachers, give them what they want, because this country is at a standstill and things are down bad.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Give the people what they want. We need the monies, all the monies. Okay. In fact, add some to my account.
Like, doctors are striking this week, guys. Even though A&E is like 17 hours away. That's crazy.
Wait, what did you say?
Doctors are striking this week.
No,
even
you said that. Wait,
A&E is like 17 hours away in some places. Yeah.
You know what? I went one year. The only time I've ever been to A&E, I was not to the hospital, but I've been there to, like, I don't know, get blood drawn and stuff. But like the first time and the only time I've ever been to A&E, I was by myself, and it was 4 hours, and it was the longest 4 hours of my entire life. I said, "What are my taxes for? Double digits?"
All of a sudden, you become so conservative, and right when you say, "This is what's my money going towards? The NHS are wasting my money."
You know what's so funny? I said it. Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say the worst thing is that MRI, the big like hospital in central Manchester, like they have no signal in the A&E. It's literally torture.
So you can't even play games on your phone.
You can't even use your phone.
God. You have to heal at home. Literally. You know what? I was saying to one of my friends yesterday, we're walking around town and she wanted to go to a shop. But obviously yesterday was a bank holiday. So I'm talking about the 2nd of January. And so a lot of the shops closed earlier. And she was like, why are they closing early? And I was like, do you see how you sound? Because this is capitalism. They deserve to go home to their families at a reasonable time. But I get upset when like my postage is delayed by like 1 day. Although the evil you've done is It's only God can cover it.
Every. You think
But
you
like
could get away with
everything,
it by changing your name? No way.
they didn't change the colors. They actually got worse. But yeah, so let's be more patient with people.
Service needs a deliverance. It needs a deliverance.
They need to go. They need to, DHL. Those people, if they say they're going to deliver something at 10 a.m., best believe they're outside your door at 9:59 a.m. Learn from them.
UPS as well.
Yeah.
That man are accurate. But the others, it's funny because DHL will deliver something from another country and they will deliver it to you on time. On time. So tell me why they could come from another country, but the very same service in this country is struggling. Do you see how you act?
Why do you act like that? Incompetent. But then I'm like, you know what, ARAMIDE, is this what will be fed to kind of continue this line of like capitalism and kind of, because like, for example, you can order something on Amazon and get it the next day. We don't think about the human cost, the environmental cost. Is like, but I need it.
Well, we're just asking for excellence. If you're going to start a business, then do your business right.
Okay.
Do it excellently. Okay. Like, don't be doing a delivery business and just be doing the higgy haga everywhere. No.
Honestly, I can go to the warehouse with a wheelbarrow and collect what it is that I purchased. And then what? You know,
and
what's
the thing
so
is, they use a lot of agency workers as well who've never done it before. They just sign up to a shift and then they just work in the warehouse, have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah. But you know what? When I was on the train, I got on the train, I think because I don't really travel much during the winter time because it's so cold. And the train conductor, I know he was doing his job, but he had the nerve to be like, let me check your rail card, which was in date, by the way. And I thought, with the amount of cancellations, do you think that this is what you need to be focusing on? The trains barely run.
Ma'am, have you got your ticket?
I absolutely did have my ticket and my rail card was absolutely valid. But I just thought, you know what? And as I say, you know what, ARAMIDE, they're actually just doing their job. They're just part of a larger corporation that's very unreliable. So don't take your anger on them. But yeah.
That was a nice tangent from our lessons that we've learned in 2022. So if you're listening, have a great 2023. You will be hearing more of us. Yes, that's the question. And tell us what your New Year's plans are. I have any. I'll see if I can steal some from you and adopt it myself. But
and please, if you're not going to be serious about the gym,
if
you're not going to be serious about the gym, don't find yourself there.
You know what? Stop. Because some people like me was actually meant to email the gym to say, can you put my membership on pause for a month? Actually, one thing, try and give money to charity. Every year I usually give, like, even if it's just £10 a month or something that you can give to a charity of your choice every month, like make a recurring donation. I always set that up at the start of every year so that I don't have to think about it and it's just £10 a month that I could spend on food that I'm just choosing not to. Try and implement that, whether it's a local charity or a food bank near you, or it's a relative or someone in your church that you know might benefit from it.
Support us. We are welcome and open to your donations.
This is when problem starts.
Donations.
But yeah, that's all.
Yeah. We're signing out, guys. Have a good week, have a good day.
Clear now.
Bye.
Yeah. What's Ivy? Clear now. BC. Icarus man stay flying to a high place. I place my attention into the bright haze. Man playing tricks, I build a mind games, and I see the minds in the sky trying to pull me up from high.